folks, Kel Kellogg here. Welcome back to the channel. Got a Yeti full of iced coffee. I'm ready for action, and I'm heading out for a trout fishing adventure right in my backyard. I'm here in Forest Hill, California. I'm gonna go down the canyon to the middle fork of the American River. This is the last day of barbless artificial only regulations down there. This is the Friday before Memorial Day. Tomorrow, it's open to anything goes. You can keep 5 trout, you can use worms, barbs, whatever. But all winter, up until the Friday preceding Memorial Day, it's artificial lures, barbless hooks, so I figure there won't be a big crowd down there. And I know there are some jumbo wild trout down there, both browns and rainbows. We might even get lucky and get into a bass. So let's get out of here. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning. We should be arriving on the stream at prime time. Let's see if we can hook up. I'm going to be throwing my sea flies and some different offerings. We're going to utilize bobbers. We're going to utilize some aggressive retrieves. We'll see what happens, but I'm expecting to get my fish on this morning. Okay, so I drove down to the river. I kind of hiked down an old trail, came through an opening. I came down to the river, and I was greeted by this really sexy looking pool. I fished there before. I haven't fished it in a couple years. I knew there were trout in there. I walked right up to the stream. My plan was I'm gonna throw sea flies. I'm gonna drift some on this spinning rod right here with this orange bobber. I'm gonna drift them about 6 feet deep through the seams. I'm also gonna throw a 1/4 ounce sea fly, and I'm gonna work it real aggressively. Started out with the aggressive approach. Right away, hooked a fish. Fish came off nanosecond later. Cool, they're in there. A few casts later, I hung the bottom, and barbless hooks today, so I'd removed that barb on the hook. Well, apparently I weakened the hook because I got hung up and I snapped most of the bend of the hook off. No big deal. I'll just grab the rest of my sea flies and pick one out, and I'll get back to casting. Started digging through the backpack, no flies. They're on my kitchen counter. So I'm back at home now, by the way. So I left my gear on the counter, so I have no more replacement flies, but I still have this bobber rod here with a tiny sea fly rig to drift. So I figured, well, I'll work that for a while, and I worked the hole where I got the hit, nothing else. And I'm looking downstream, and there's another nice looking pool down there, and there's a big bedrock formation down there, and I'm looking at it, and I'm big and clumsy. So down towards the water line, it's pretty steep and it's pretty polished, so it looks slippery. But it looks like I can go up and above, you know, no problem at all. And I'm very snake aware. And it's a good thing because this happened next. Guys, rattlesnake alert. There's a rattlesnake over here. He's right down here. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that, but he's a big one and he's pissed off. I can't see him. He crawled off somewhere, but he big enough. I don't know. He had about an inch or more of buttons. I stepped right up there, and he was right down there, and he was not happy. He must have went on his way, because he ain't rattling no more. And I'm not going over there. I'm going to declare a truce. Yeah. Well, I would have got that on camera, except I was too busy running away. He's up there somewhere. Well, I gotta tell you, in my lifetime being a hunter, hiker, fisherman, I have literally seen hundreds of rattlesnakes. Back when I was a young buck, I used to kill most of them that I saw. But these days, you know, if one shows up here around the house, he's a dead snake if I get a hold of him, if I can get my shovel. But beyond that, if I see a snake out in the woods, I go one way, I let them go about their business. And it's actually kind of cool to see them at times, but some of them pop up and they just scare the crap out of you, even if you're used to seeing snakes and you're kind of expecting to see a snake. And that was the case with that guy. You know, up there on top of that bedrock, there's kind of a big crack, kind of bathtub shaped, and there was a a broken chunk of bedrock laying down in there. It wasn't all flat, and it was providing some shade, and I was gonna kind of go up and over that broken piece, and as soon as I took a step forward, he started rattling, and the first thought in my head was, holy moly, he might be kind of trapped in here. He might come my way trying to escape. And of course, I got the CCW. I'm always packing my pistol. I thought, I'll shoot him. And then I thought, no, this is all rock. Bad idea. One, bedrock, bad idea. Can't be shooting a gun. And two, I'm in a state park, so can't be shooting a gun. So my next strategy was to pee my pants and run, which I sort of did. Or at least I started to do. And when I started to do that, I saw the snake's tail, and I could see he was trying to head back down. He had an escape route, and I saw probably a third of the snake's body. I'm gonna say it was 10 or 11 inches long. He had about that much rattle, over an inch certainly. And the biggest part of the body I saw was about that big, certainly bigger than a garden hose. So that was a mature snake. I'm going to say I saw a third of the snake, so I'm going to peg that snake somewhere in that, 26, 28, 30-inch range. So nice mature rattlesnake. It must have just shedded recently because the markings were super distinct. The darker areas were really rust-colored, really tan, really distinct markings on that snake. And he wanted no part of me, and I wanted no part of him. I tried to catch him on film, but I wasn't about to go in there and really start poking around. When I poked my fishing rod down there, he started rattling like crazy. But that's when he was in full retreat mode. So anyway, rather than this being a fishing video, I'm gonna kind of segue into a safety video. And just remember, when you're out there getting your adventure on this summer, if you're out on a boat, especially a small boat, a canoe, a kayak, something like that, wear that life jacket. And if you're out there hiking around, poking around, just be aware how things can go bad. Luckily for me, I was being snake aware today. I knew there were snakes around. I've seen them on the river before, but you gotta remember, you gotta tell people where you're at. My wife knew where I was. My dad knew where I was. You could fall down and break your leg. You could get bit by a snake. You could slip and fall in that cold water. If that happens, you're probably done. At least if you're me, I got all kinds of gear on and I can't swim that great. Bottom line is, think about what can go wrong and try to set the stage for success. Try to set the stage for you not getting hurt, not getting snake bit. I also had a big tick walking around in my pants today. They'll burrow in you, and if they're in the wrong spot, you get to go to the doctor and have it dug out. Maybe get Lyme disease. That's joyous. So just remember, outdoors is a great place. Fishing's a great sport. Hiking's great, good for your health. But when you're out there this summer, be aware, rattlesnakes, ticks, slip and fall, poison oak, poison ivy back east. Just keep your ears open, keep your eyes open, use your head, don't get yourself in trouble. A lot easier to avoid trouble than it is to get out of trouble once you're in trouble. So that's all I got to say. If you're looking for fishing gear for your next fishing adventure, get on over to my store at fishhuntshoot.com. And remember, sometimes when everything's going against you, it's a good idea just to come back home, drink coffee, and regroup for your next adventure. Anyway, I'll see you next time right here on YouTube. I'm Cal Kellogg.